and she can't do an interview. But I look forward to the debates because I think we have to set the record straight. Why is it that millions of people were allowed to come into our country from prisons, from jails, from mental institutions, insane asylums, even insane asylums? It's a mental institution on steroids. That's what it is. When you see the people that are coming into these are institutions that are being emptied out, not in South America, all over the world, including South America, all over the world. Prisons are being emptied out into our country because we have a president that's the worst president in the history of our country. We have a vice president who...
Hearing Donald Trump talk about mental institutions and insane asylums on steroids, and I'm surprised he didn't talk about Hannibal Lecter there, but hearing him speak really shows that he should probably be institutionalized at this point. Donald Trump is in such cognitive decline, completely unraveling, having a cognitive episode live at his press conference that went horribly wrong, and we're going to get into more of it because he's just so crazy, and he's really lost it now more than ever. I didn't think Donald Trump could get much worse from a cognitive decline standpoint, but as we'll see in these later clips, he absolutely has. And before we get into those, if I could quickly ask you to hit the subscribe button, subscribe to this channel, join what we are building, and leave a like. It really goes a long way. Now, let's check out this incredibly strange complaining clip of Donald Trump.
Was taken away. The presidency was taken away from Joe Biden. And I'm no Biden fan, but I'll tell you what, from a constitutional standpoint, from any standpoint you look at, they took the presidency away. And people were saying he lost after the debate. He couldn't win. Well, I don't know that that's true necessarily. But whether he could win or he couldn't win, he had the right to run. And they took it away. They said they're going to use the 25th Amendment. They're going to hit you hard. Either we can do it the nice. I know exactly because I know a lot of people on the other side, believe it or not. And they said, we'll do it the nice way or we'll do it the hard way. And he said, all right. So that, I mean, they've really taken, what they've done is pretty incredible. And now I'm running against somebody else, and we're leading. We're leading. So I'm not complaining. I'm saying for a country with a constitution that we cherish this constitution. To have done it this way is pretty severe, pretty horrible.
Donald Trump is going off on this long, rambling diatribe. He hasn't done a campaign event in days. You'd think that he would go up there and be on teleprompter, deliver a message, try to keep it together, but he can't. He can't stop himself from rambling about President Biden, stop himself about saying that he's up in the polls, which he's not, lying and unraveling and losing his mind live for millions of people to see. He can't help himself. And it's because he does not have a message. It's because he doesn't have an agenda besides Project 2025, which is so incredibly unpopular that he's even running away from it. But he doesn't have anything. And so he just goes up and rambles and says that he's leading in the polls. He's complaining about President Biden. He's complaining about Kamala Harris, and he's just lost. And really, it's incredible to see. But he went on another meandering and long and weird attack on Kamala Harris's new running mate, Tim Walz, that I want to check out and then respond to.
She's a radical left person at a level that nobody's seen. She picked a radical left man that is, he's got things done that he has positions that are just not, it's not even possible to believe that they exist. He's going for things that nobody's ever even heard of. Heavy into the transgender world, heavy into lots of different worlds.
I don't know what accusation and attack Donald Trump is trying to make on Tim Walz, saying that he's into the transgender world, whatever that means. Donald Trump clearly doesn't know what he's talking about, clearly doesn't know the attacks that he's trying to make. I think his staff has been trying to prep him with these attacks on Tim Walz and Kamala Harris on their record, which is just hysterical because Trump is going after Tim Walz's record, saying that he's too radical because, he's feeding hungry kids in schools, he's making sure roads and bridges are safe to drive on, paid family leave, paid sick leave, making sure that his community is strong, that Minnesota is one of the best states to live in this country. Is that too radical? Is Kamala Harris capping the price of insulin at $35 a month alongside Joe Biden, passing a historic infrastructure law? Is that too radical, Donald? Things that you wanted to claim you did, but never did while you were president, while you were failing? That's too radical? Donald Trump has no attack that he can possibly land on Tim Walz. Neither does J.D. Vance. We could get into J.D. Vance a little bit later because he is also completely unraveling. But these people, they have no message. I'm surprised Donald Trump even did a press conference today. I think he did only because there's been so much talk that Kamala Harris and Tim Walz are barnstorming the swing states. They're in Michigan in the same day as they're in Wisconsin, the day after they're in Pennsylvania, and soon they're going to Arizona, then they're going to Nevada. They're all over the place. Donald Trump is doing a campaign stop in Montana this week. That's it. And so they had to get him out, had to have a press conference to show that he's still alive, which by the looks of it, he barely is, having a complete cognitive episode. But this is their plan. And if their plan is to just let Donald Trump ramble, then keep it up because you're going to lose. And although Donald Trump wants to claim that they're not losing in this poll, they certainly are in this clip. But let's check out this clip.
Fortunately, we've had some very good polls over the last fairly short period of time. Rasmussen came out today. We're substantially leading, and others came out today that we're leading, and in some cases substantially. I guess MSNBC came out, or CNBC came out also with a poll that was, has us leading.
So Trump says that he's leading in the polls, but a new A+ rated poll from Marquette University showed this. Kamala Harris is leading Donald Trump 50% to 42%, one of the biggest margins we've seen in a national poll in this race so far. Kamala Harris is crushing Donald Trump. She's crushing him. She's wiping the floor with him. In national polls and swing state polls, it's over for Trump. And he knows it. He knows it is over. He knows it's over because the only answer to trying to beat Kamala Harris and Tim Walz, if we're just looking at it from a purely political perspective, would be to go out and make the case against them. But the problem for them is they don't have a case against Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. They don't have a message. There are no personal grievances that they can bring up that register with voters. There are no policy grievances or differences that register with voters. Are you going to say that Kamala Harris and Tim Walz want to make your life more affordable? Ooh, how scary. They want to make sure that our fundamental freedoms are protected, that kids across America aren't hungry in school. Is this the attack ad that you're running? But it's funny because the only attack that the Trump campaign really thinks can land against Tim Walz and Kamala Harris is that they're soft on crime. That's their big message, that they're soft on crime, that they're letting criminals walk free. Donald, you're the criminal. You're the biggest criminal in maybe the history of our country. I can't even believe this is the message that they're going with. It is only a reminder of how much of a failure Donald Trump was as president when they tried to bring up the record of Kamala Harris, who has had only success as vice president. And it's only a reminder that Donald Trump is a 34 times over convicted felon when they try to say that she and Tim Walz are soft on crime. It's hilarious. The attacks are hilarious. They fall so flat. And this clip of Trump is an example of that.
Because if she becomes president, our country is going to be a giant fail. It's going to fail. It's going to be a failure the likes of which this world has never seen.
Donald Trump says that if Kamala Harris is president, our country will fail. Well, she's done an incredible job as vice president. She was a historically impactful senator, the same as when she was attorney general, the same as when she was district attorney. Tim Walz has been one of the best governors in this country, so much so that you, Donald, complimented him on the job that he was doing. So what's the failure in their record? Why would this incredible experience they have not translate? It would. And Donald Trump knows it. And MAGA knows it. That's why, as we always talk about on this show, about 5 to 10% of Republicans in every single poll I see are moving from Donald Trump to Kamala Harris. That's why she's up so big. And it's important to talk about, and I love bringing it up, not just because seeing Republicans leave Donald Trump infuriates him and makes me so happy and helps us win. But when Republicans are supporting Kamala Harris, it means we're bringing unity to this country. It means we're unifying. We're not caring about divisions between parties. We're not thinking red or blue. We're thinking about the future. We're thinking about how we can help our communities, how our selfless leaders can be joyful warriors in the act of governing, bringing us forward. It's not what Donald Trump's thinking about. Sure as hell isn't it what J.D. Vance is thinking about. They're thinking about themselves. And that is the difference here. And that is why, no, Donald, they will not fail. They will be incredible. You failed and you're done. Get out of here. And I can't wait to see it. Cannot wait to see him lose. Again, it's going to be amazing. And if you can't wait as well, make sure that you join this community that we're building on YouTube by hitting that subscribe button, leaving a like on this video. It really goes a long way, and supporting what we're doing. It means the world to me that we've been able to grow this community so fast, and I look forward to continue growing it with y'all. And until next time, I'll see you soon.